Question 1. With reference to the tripartite struggle in early medieval India, consider the following statements. The struggle was primarily contested among the Gurjara Pratiharas, the Palace of Bengal, and the Rashtrakutas of the Deccan. The ultimate bone of contention was the control of Kannauj, which had become a symbol of imperial sovereignty since the time of Harshavardhana. The struggle ended with the complete and permanent consolidation of power over North India by the Palace of Bengal. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer. A. Explanation statement 1 is correct. The tripartite struggle was a long-drawn conflict from the 8th to the 10th centuries fought among three major dynasties: the Gurjara Pratiharas of western India, the Palace of Bengal, and the Rashtrakutas of the Deccan. Statement 2 is correct. The primary bone of contention was the city of Kannauj in the fertile Gangetic plains. Since the reign of Harshavardhana, Kannauj had become a symbol of imperial sovereignty in North India, replacing Pataliputra. Statement 3 is incorrect. The struggle did not end with Pala dominance. In fact, it was the Gurjara Pratiharas under rulers like Vatsaraja and Mihir Bhoja who ultimately succeeded in securing long-term control over Kannauj and consolidating their power in North India. Question 2. Who among the following was the founder of the Rashtrakuta Empire who established Manyaketa as his center after defeating the last Chalukya ruler? A. Dantadurga. B. Krishna IC. Amogavarsha ID. Dhruva. Answer. Explanation. Dantadurga, 735 to 756 AD, was the founder of the Rashtrakuta dynasty. He was initially a feudatory of the Badami Chalukyas, but overthrew the last Chalukya king Kirtavarman II in 753 AD to establish independent Rashtrakuta rule. He established the imperial capital at Manyaketa, Malkhed in modern Karnataka. Question 3. With reference to the Rashtrakuta ruler Amogavarsha, I consider the following statements. He is credited with writing Kavirajamarga, the earliest available work on poetics in the Kannada language. He was a patron of the famous Jain scholar Jainasena, who composed the Adipurana. He ended his life by taking Jal Samadhi in the sacred river Tungabhadra. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer. D. Explanation statement 1 is correct. Amogavarsha I, 814 to 878 AD, was a highly accomplished scholar and poet. He wrote Kavirajamarga, which is the earliest surviving literary work on poetics, grammar, and rhetoric in the Kannada language. Statement 2 is correct. He was a devout patron of Jainism and supported renowned scholars, including his spiritual preceptor Jainasena, author of Adipurana and Parshvabhyudaya, and Mahaviracharya, author of the mathematical treatise Ganitasara Sangraha. Statement 3 is correct. Following a long and prosperous reign, Amogavarsha I abdicated the throne and ended his life by taking ritual immersion or Jal Samadhi in the Tungabhadra River in accordance with the Jaina tradition of voluntary termination of life. Question 4. Which of the following Gurjara Pratihara rulers successfully ended the tripartite struggle by securing Kannauj and assumed the imperial titles of Prabhas and Adivaraha A, Vatsaraja B, Nagabada II C, Mihir Bhoja D, Mahendrapala I? Answer. C. Explanation. Mihir Bhoja, 836 to 885 AD, also known as Bhoja I, was one of the greatest military and administrative rulers of the Gurjara Pratihara dynasty. He successfully defeated the palace and Rashtrakutas, establishing permanent control over Kannauj. He was a staunch devotee of Vishnu and assumed the titles of Adivaraha, engraved on his silver coins, and Prabhas. Question 5. The prominent early medieval Sanskrit scholar and court poet Rajasekhara, who authored Karpuramanjari and Kavyamimamsa, was patronized by which of the following Gurjara Pratihara kings? A. Mihir Bhoja only B, Vatsaraja and Nagabada II C, Mahendrapala I and Mahapala D, Harishandra and Yasapala? Answer. C. Explanation. Rajasekhara was a highly celebrated Sanskrit poet, dramatist, and critic. He was the court poet and preceptor, guru, of the Gurjara Pratihara king Mahendrapala I and his successor Mahapala. His famous works include Karpuramanjari, written in Prakrit, Kavyamimamsa, Balarmayan Prachandapandavanda, and Prabandhakosha. Question 6. With reference to the administration of the imperial Karkota dynasty of Kashmir, consider the following statements. It was founded by Durlabhavardhana during the 7th century AD. King Lalitaditya Muktapida constructed the magnificent Martan Sun Temple and established the city of Perihaspur. Lalitaditya maintained diplomatic relations with the Chinese Tang court by sending embassies. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 3 only D, 1, 2, and 3. Answer. The explanation statement 1 is correct. The Karkota dynasty of Kashmir was established by Durlabhavardhana in 625 AD during the reign of Harshavardhana. Statement 2 is correct. Lalitaditya Muktapida, 724 to 760 AD, was the most famous ruler of this dynasty. He constructed the spectacular Martan Sun Temple, dedicated to the sun god, and built a grand new capital city named Perihaspur. Statement 3 is correct. Lalitaditya was an expansionist who checked Tibetan advances and maintained close diplomatic relations with the Chinese Tang dynasty, sending an embassy to China during the reign of Emperor Xuanzong. Question 7. Who among the following rulers of Kashmir belongs to the Utpala dynasty and is known as the first king to execute massive agricultural canal and irrigation reforms under his engineer Surya A. Avantavarman B. Shamagupta C. Shankaravarman D. Dida? Answer. A. Explanation. Avantavarman, 855 to 883 AD, founded the Utpala dynasty of Kashmir. His reign is memorable for major civil engineering and agricultural reforms. His minister-engineer Surya successfully dredged the Jhelum River to prevent devastating annual floods, redirected water channels for systematic irrigation, and significantly increased agricultural productivity. Avantavarman also founded the town of Ambatipur. Question 8. With reference to Queen Dida of Kashmir, who ruled for nearly 50 years, which of the following statements is historically accurate? A. She was a ruler of the Karkota dynasty who defeated the Arab invaders. B. She was the princess of Lohara, who married King Shamagupta of the Utpala dynasty, later consolidating power. C. She was the author of the historical chronicle Rajatarangini. D. She was the patron of the Chinese traveler Xuanzang during his stay in Kashmir. Answer. B. Explanation. Queen Dida was the daughter of Simharaja, the king of Lohara, and the granddaughter of Bhimadeva Shahi of Kabul. She married King Shamagupta of the Utpala dynasty of Kashmir. Due to Shamagupta's physical weakness and early death, Dida became the de facto ruler, acting as regent for her son and grandsons, and eventually ruling in her own name from 980 to 103 AD. She was a highly capable but ruthless administrator who preserved the unity of Kashmir. Question 9. With reference to the Lohara dynasty of Kashmir, consider the following statements. It was founded by Sangramaraja, who succeeded Queen Dida in 1003 AD. During the reign of Sangramaraja, Kashmir successfully resisted the invasion of Mahmud of Ghazni in 1011 AD. The dynasty ended with the invasion of the Mongols under Genghis Khan. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 only B, 1 and 2 only C, 2 and 3 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer. The explanation statement 1 is correct. The Lohara dynasty was founded by Sangramaraja Queen Dida's nephew, whom she had designated as her successor. He ascended the throne in 1003 AD. Statement 2 is correct. In 1011 AD, Mahmud of Ghazni invaded Kashmir, but his campaign was a total failure due to the strategic defense of Sangramaraja and the inhospitable weather conditions. This was the only unsuccessful campaign of Mahmud in India. Statement 3 is incorrect. The Lohara dynasty did not end due to Genghis Khan's invasion. Genghis Khan never invaded Kashmir. The dynasty continued until the 14th century when Islamic rule was established under Suhadeva and Shah Mir. Question 10. Consider the following pairs of Kashmiri historical figures and their descriptions. Harsha, Lohara dynasty, known as the Nero of Kashmir due to his cruelty, looting of temples, and administrative failures during a famine. Kalhana, the author of the masterwork Rajatarangini, who lived during the reigns of Harsha and Jayasimha of the Lohara dynasty. Jayasimha, the last sovereign ruler of Kashmir mentioned in Kalhana's Rajatarangini. Which of the pairs given above are correctly matched? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer. The explanation. Pair 1 is correctly matched. King Harsha, 1089 to 110 AD, of the Lohara dynasty was highly cultured but eventually became tyrannical, looting Hindu temples to finance his extravagant lifestyle and failing to manage Kashmir during a devastating famine, earning him the epithet of the Nero of Kashmir. Pair 2 is correctly matched. Kalhana, the legendary historian, wrote Rajatarangini, the River of Kings, in Sanskrit. He was the son of Champaka, a minister of King Harsha, and completed his work under King Jayasimha's reign. Pair 3 is correctly matched. Kalhana's chronicle ends with the peaceful and stable reign of King Jayasimha, 1128 to 1155 AD, the last king detailed in the text. Question 11. With reference to the local self-government under the imperial Cholas of South India, consider the following statements. The was the General Assembly of tax-paying common villagers. The Sabha, or Mahasabha, was an assembly of Brahmin landholders in Chaturvedi Mangalams. The Nagaram was an administrative body representing merchants and traders in urban commercial centers. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only, B. 2 and 3 only, C. 1 and 3 only, D. 1, 2, and 3. Answer. D. Explanation statement 1 is correct. The Chola administration was highly decentralized. The was the local assembly of common villagers where land was held in common or by non-Brahmin peasants, Velanvagai. Statement 2 is correct. The Sabha, or Mahasabha, was the assembly of Brahmins in Brahmadeya villages or Chaturvedi Mangalams, scholarly Brahmin settlements. It was highly organized and worked through specialized committees, Varyams. Statement 3 is correct. The Nagaram was the local corporate assembly of merchants, artisans, and traders that governed trade and commercial activities in urban markets, Nagartars. Question 12. In Chola agrarian administration, what did the term Chaturvedi Mangalam represent? A. Land donated to Jain religious institutions, Palakandamu. B. Tax-free land grants given to learned Brahmins, Brahmadeya. C. A tax levied on four-wheeled carriages entering urban areas. D. A specialized assembly of military commanders managing security. Answer. The explanation. In the Chola kingdom, learned Brahmins who were well versed in the four Vedas were granted tax-free lands known as Brahmadeya. Settlements of these Brahmins were formerly called Chaturveda Mangalams or Agraharas. They enjoyed complete internal autonomy and were administered by the Sabha. Question 13. With reference to the reign of the Chola king Rajaraja I, which of the following statements are correct? He launched a naval expedition and conquered the northern part of Sri Lanka, Ilamandalam, making Polonnaruwa his capital. He constructed the famous Brihadisvara temple, dedicated to Shiva, at Tanjore. He assumed the grand title of Gangakondakola to commemorate his successful expedition to the Ganges. Select the answer using the code given below. A. 1 and 2 only, B. 2 only, C. 2 and 3 only, D. 1, 2, and 3. Answer. A. Explanation statement 1 is correct. Rajaraja I, 985 to 14 AD, invaded Sri Lanka, destroyed its capital Anuradhapura, and annexed its northern part as Ilamandalam. He established the new capital at Polonnaruwa. Statement 2 is correct. He was a great builder and constructed the architectural masterpiece Brihadisvara Temple, also called Rajarajasvara Temple, at Tanjore in 1010 AD. Statement 3 is incorrect. The title of Gangakondakola, the Chola who conquered the Ganges, was assumed by his son and successor Rajendra I, who led a successful military expedition to the Ganges River and built a new capital named Gangakondakola. Question 14. With reference to the military and administrative feats of Rajendra, I consider the following statements. He completed the conquest of Sri Lanka by taking its king Mahinda V prisoner. He founded the new capital city of Gangakondakola and constructed a massive irrigation tank named Cholagangam. He dispatched a massive naval expedition against the Sailendra dynasty of Srivijaya, Southeast Asia, to protect Chola trade routes. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only, B. 2 and 3 only, C. 1 and 3 only, D. 1, 2, and 3. Answer. D. Explanation statement 1 is correct. While Rajaraja I only conquered northern Sri Lanka, Rajendra I, 1040 to 1044 AD, sent an army to conquer the entire island of Sri Lanka, capturing the Sinhala king Mahinda V, his crown jewels, and the queen. Statement 2 is correct. Following his victorious campaign to Bengal and the river Ganges, he founded Gangakondakola and excavated the Cholagangam tank, which was filled with holy water from the Ganges. Statement 3 is correct. Srivijaya, ruled by the Sailendra dynasty, was putting up trade barriers for Chola merchants trading with China. To remove these hurdles, Rajendra I launched a legendary naval campaign that captured Kadaram, Kedah in Malaysia, and multiple Srivijayan ports, restoring free trade routes. Question 15. Who among the following Chola rulers is historically infamous for removing the deity of Govindaraja, Lord Vishnu, from the Chidambaram Shiva temple and throwing it into the sea, which was later reclaimed by the Bhakti Saint Ramanujacharya A, Rajaraja I Brajra B, Rajendra C, Virajendra D, Kulotunga I? Answer. D. Explanation. Kulotunga I, 1070 to 1120 AD, was a devout Shaivite. He is famous and criticized in Vaishnava texts for removing the idol of Govindaraja, Vishnu, from the courtyard of the Nataraja temple at Chidambaram and casting it into the ocean. The great Vaishnava philosopher Ramanujacharya later retrieved the idol and installed it at Tirupati. Question 16. With reference to the early history of the Paramara dynasty of Malwa, consider the following statements. It was founded by Upendraraja in the early 9th century AD. Siaka II was the first sovereign ruler who successfully liberated the dynasty from the suzerainty of the southern Rashtrakutas. In the historical work Navasahasankacharita of Padmagupta, Siaka described as the one who made Hun women widows. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2, only B. 2 and 3, only C. 1 and 3, only D. 1, 2, and 3. Answer. The explanation statement 1 is correct. The Paramara dynasty of Malwa was established by Upendra, also known as Krishnaraja, in the early 9th century AD, around 800 AD, as a vassal of the Gurjara Pratiharas, Rashtrakuta. Statement 2 is correct. Siaka II, 948 to 972 AD, defeated the Rashtrakuta king Kadiga, sacked their capital Manyaketa, and established the Paramaras as an independent imperial power in central India. Statement 3 is correct. Padmagupta's Navasahasankacharita credits Siaka II with crushing the Hun rulers of northwestern India and contains the poetic phrase describing him as the one who made Hun women widows due to his decimation of Hun warriors. Question 17. The celebrated early medieval polymath king Raja Bhoja of Dar, who assumed the title of Kaviraja, did not author which of the following works? A. Sarasvatikantha Bharana B. Kavirajamarga C. Sringara Prakasha D. Yuktikalpataru. Answer. B. Explanation. Raja Bhoja of Dar, 1010 to 1055 AD, was a legendary ruler, warrior, and polymath who wrote extensively on grammar, poetics, architecture, and medicine. His famous works include Sarasvatikantha Bharana, Sringara Prakasha, Samarangana Sutradhara on architecture, Ayurveda Sarvasva, and Yuktikalpataru on shipbuilding. Kavirajamarga was authored by the Rashtrakuta king Amogavarsha, I not Raja Bhoja. Question 18. Consider the following architectural works. The Tribhuvan Narayan Shiva Temple in Chittor, Rajasthan. The Bhojpur Shiva Temple near Bhopal, known for housing one of the largest monolithic Shiva lingams in India. The Bhushala University and Sarasvati Temple in Dar, Madhya Pradesh. Which of the architectural works listed above were commissioned by Raja Bhoja of Dar? A. 1 and 2 only B. 2 and 3 only C. 1 and 3 only D. 1, 2 and 3. Answer. D. Explanation. All the listed monuments were built by Raja Bhoja. Despite being a Malwa-based ruler, Bhoja campaigned in Rajasthan and built the Tribhuvan Narayan Temple, also known as Samadesvara Temple, in Chittor. He also constructed the massive incomplete Bhojpur Shiva Temple, referred to as the Somnath of Central India due to its tall monolithic lingam, established the Bhojpala Sanskrit University and Sarasvati Temple in Dar, and excavated the massive Bhopal Lake, Bhopal Lake. Question 19. With reference to the Chandela dynasty of Jagapukti, Bundelkhand, consider the following statements. The dynasty was founded by Nanuka during the early 9th century AD. King Danga was the first sovereign ruler who constructed the magnificent Vishvanatha and Jinnanatha temples at Khajuraho. The famous temples of Khajuraho include Saiva Vaishnava and Jaina temples, but completely lack any Buddhist monuments. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B. 2 and 3 only C. 1 and 3 only D. 1, 2, and 3. Answer. The explanation statement 1 is correct. The Chandela dynasty of Jagabukti, modern Bundelkhand in Madhya Pradesh, was founded by Nanuka in 831 AD. Statement 2 is correct. Danga Deva, 950 to 2 AD, was the first completely independent Chandela king. He constructed the grandest temples at Khajuraho, including the Vishwanatha, Shiva, and Jananatha Jain temples. He also used the fortress of Kalinjar as his military capital. Statement 3 is correct. The UNESCO World Heritage Site of Khajuraho consists of 25 surviving temples representing Saiva, Vaishnava, and Jaina sects. It does not contain any Buddhist temples. Question 20. Match the following administrative military centers of the Chandalas of Bundelkhand with their primary functions: Kalinjar military capital and strategic hill fortress, Mahoba civil and administrative capital, Khajuraho religious and temple capital. Select the answer. Using the code given below, A1 only is B, 1 and 2 are C, 2 and 3 are D. 1, 2 and 3 are correct. Answer. D. Explanation. The Chandalas had a highly structured administrative system that divided their primary functions across 3 distinct capitals. Kalinjar served as their heavily fortified military headquarters, Mahoba as their administrative center, and Khajuraho as their spiritual and religious sanctuary, where they built the famous temples. All 3 are correctly matched. Module 2, Delhi Sultanate Administration, Economy, its Society, questions 21-45. Question 21. With reference to the evolution of the Ikta system during the Delhi Sultanate, consider the following statements. The first Ikta in India was formally granted by Muhammad Ghori to Kutubuddin Aibak. It was Sultan Shamsuddin Iltutmish who institutionalized and organized the Ikta system as a civil military administrative machine. Sultan Alauddin Khilji suspended the granting of hereditary Iktas and paid his soldiers in cash from the central treasury. Firoz Shah Tughlaq reinstated the Ikta system on a hereditary basis, aligning with his policy of appeasing the nobility. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2, 3 and 4 only C, 1, 3 and 4 only D, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Answer. D. Explanation. Statement 1 is correct. Historically, the first Ikta, administrative land assignment, was granted by Muhyiddin Muhammad Ghori to his slave Kutubuddin Aibak in Hansi, Haryana. Statement 2 is correct. Shamsuddin Iltutmish formalized and institutionalized the Ikta system. He divided his empire into small and large Iktas and distributed them to his military commanders, Muktis or Walis, for maintaining troops' administrative expenses and revenue collection. Statement 3 is correct. Alauddin Khilji adopted a highly centralized administrative policy. He abolished the smaller Iktas, converted a major portion of land into Khalisa, royal land under direct central control, and paid his standing army in cash, nakad, from the central treasury. Statement 4 is correct. Firoz Shah Tughlaq, who pursued a policy of appeasement to placate his disgruntled nobles and soldiers, made the military posts and Iktas hereditary, Wattanvanshanugada. Question 22. Who among the following sultans of Delhi was the first to introduce a pure Arabic currency system consisting of the silver tanka and the copper jadal, and inscribe the name of the mint on these coins? A. Kutubuddin Aibak, B. Shamsuddin Iltutmish, C. Ghiyasuddin Balban, D. Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Answer. B. Explanation. Shamsuddin Iltutmish is recognized as the father of pure Arabic coinage in India. He introduced 2 standard coins of the Sultanate, the silver tanka, weighing 75 grains, and the copper jadal. He also introduced the practice of inscribing the name of the mint city, Taxal, on the coins, which was a standard Islamic monetary convention. Question 23. Consider the following military campaigns conducted by Shamsuddin Iltutmish during his reign: Gwalior campaign, 1231 AD, after which he nominated his daughter Razia as his heir apparent. Mansabdar audit campaigns to recover revenue from Bengal, Lakhnauti. The final campaign of his life against Balkh and Bamiyan in 1235 AD. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 only B, 1 and 2 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer. C. Explanation. Statement 1 is correct. In 1231 AD, Iltutmish launched the Gwalior campaign, capturing the fortress. Having been highly impressed by his daughter Razia's administrative capability while he was away, he formally designated her as his successor and minted coins with her name. Statement 2 is incorrect. There was no such thing as a Mansabdar audit campaign under Iltutmish. Mansabdari was a Mughal system introduced centuries later by Akbar. Statement 3 is correct. The last campaign of Iltutmish's life was against the fortress of Bamiyan in the northwest, modern Afghanistan, in 1235 AD. He fell critically ill during this campaign, returned to Delhi, and passed away in 1236 AD. Question 24. With reference to the Mongol threat in early medieval India, consider the following statements. It was during the reign of Iltutmish that the Mongol conqueror Genghis Khan reached the banks of the river Indus. Genghis Khan was pursuing the fugitive Khwarezmian prince Jalaluddin Mangabarni. Iltutmish pursued a policy of military confrontation and successfully pushed Genghis Khan's forces back into Central Asia. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer. A. Explanation statement 1 is correct. In 1221 AD, Genghis Khan led a Mongol army to the banks of the Indus River. Statement 2 is correct. Genghis Khan was pursuing Jalaluddin Mangabarni, the Prince of Khwarezm, modern Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, who had fled towards India seeking refuge. Statement 3 is incorrect. Iltutmish did not pursue military confrontation. Instead, he adopted a very clever diplomatic policy of aloofness. When Mangabarni requested military help and shelter in Delhi, Iltutmish politely refused, stating that the climate of Delhi would not suit the prince. Deprived of a foothold, Mangabarni left, and Genghis Khan decided to return to Central Asia via Tibet, thereby saving the infant Delhi Sultanate from Mongol devastation. Question 25. Which of the following statements regarding the reign of Razia Sultan is historically accurate? A. She assumed the title of Zil-i-Ilahi, Shadow of God, to justify her right to rule. B. She assumed the title of Umdat-ul-Niswan, or Umdat-ul-Nisba, and cast off her purdah, adopting masculine attire such as the kuba, coat, and kula, cap. C. She was the first sultan to establish a separate department of slaves called Diwan-i-Bandigan. D. She enjoyed the complete and unconditional support of the 40 Turkish nobles, Chahalgani. Answer. B. Explanation. Razia Sultan was a highly unconventional and progressive ruler. She assumed the grand title of Umdat-ul-Niswan, Pillar of Women. To establish her authority over her subjects and army, she publicly rejected the traditional purdah, appeared in court with an open face, and wore the kuba, masculine long coat, and kula, cap, while riding elephants into battle. Balban assumed the title of Zil-i-Ilahi. Diwan-i-Bandigan was founded by Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Razia never had the support of the Chahalgani. They constantly plotted to overthrow her. Question 26. With reference to the administrative post of Naib-e-Mamlikat, or Naib, in the Delhi Sultanate, consider the following statements. The post was created during the reign of Muizuddin Bahram Shah, son of Iltutmish, to pacify the powerful Turkish Chahalgani. The first person to be appointed to this highly powerful position was Ikhtiyaruddin Aytejin. The post was finally abolished under the reigns of the Khilji dynasty, specifically by Mubarak Shah Khilji. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer. E. Explanation statement 1 is correct. Following Razia's death, the Turkish nobility placed Muizuddin Bahram Shah on the throne. To strip the Sultan of real executive power, they created a new post of Naib-e-Mamlikat, Regent of the Realm, which was equivalent to the de facto ruler. Statement 2 is correct. Ikhtiyaruddin Aytejin, the leader of the conspiracy against Razia, was the very first person appointed to this post. Statement 3 is correct. The post of Naib continued through Balban's time, but was eventually dismantled during the Khilji period, with Mubarak Shah Khilji permanently abolishing it. Question 27. During whose reign did the first successful Mongol invasion of the territories of the Delhi Sultanate occur, resulting in the sack of Lahore in 1241 AD? Shamsuddin Iltutmish B, Razia Sultan C, Muizuddin Bahram Shah D, Ghiyasuddin Balban. Answer. C. Explanation. The first major successful Mongol invasion that penetrated deep into the Delhi Sultanate occurred in 1241 AD during the reign of Muizuddin Bahram Shah. The Mongol forces under the commander Ter Bahadur besieged and sacked the key city of Lahore. The central government at Delhi failed to send timely assistance due to internal conflicts between the Sultan and his Chahalgani nobles. Question 28. With reference to the Sultan of Delhi Nasiruddin Mahmud, 1246 to 1266 AD, consider the following statements. He lived a highly simple and pious life, earning his livelihood by copying the Quran and sewing caps. Minhaj as-Siraj dedicated his famous historical work Tabakat-i-Nasiri to this sultan, calling him the ideal sultan of Delhi. He appointed Balban as his Naib-e-Mamlikat and gave him the title of Ulu Khan. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer. D. Explanation statement 1 is correct. Nasiruddin Mahmud was famous for his extreme simplicity, religious devotion, and piety. He did not spend state funds on his personal expenses, instead earning a modest living by copying manuscripts of the Holy Quran and sewing caps. Statement 2 is correct. Minhaj as-Siraj, the chief Qazi of Delhi, was patronized by him. He dedicated his monumental work Tabakat-i-Nasiri to the Sultan, praising him as the most noble and ideal Sultan of Delhi. Statement 3 is correct. In 1249 AD, Nasiruddin Mahmud married Balban's daughter, appointed Balban as his naib, regent prime minister, and conferred upon him the title of Ulu Khan, the Great Khan, the Great Khan. Question 29. With reference to Ghiyasuddin Balban's theory of kingship, consider the following statements. He proclaimed that the Sultan's office is the Niyabat-i-Khudai, deputyship of God, and the ruler is the Zil-i-Ilahi, shadow of God on earth. He claimed descent from the legendary mythical Turkish hero Afrasiab mentioned in Ferdowsi's Shahnameh to establish his racial superiority over other Turkish nobles. He advocated that the primary basis of state appointments should be administrative merit rather than noble lineage or blood purity. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer. A. Explanation statement 1 is correct. Balban formulated a highly rigid and autocratic theory of kingship. He wanted to raise the prestige of the Sultan, declaring that the king was the representative of God on earth, Niyabat-i-Khudai, and his shadow, Zil-i-Ilahi. Statement 2 is correct. To establish his racial supremacy over his fellow Chahalgani nobles, Balban claimed descent from Afrasiab, the mythical king of Turan, mentioned in Ferdowsi's epic Shahnameh. Statement 3 is incorrect. Balban was a staunch believer in noble ancestry and blood purity. He refused to appoint anyone of low birth to state positions, famously stating that whenever he saw a low-born person, his eyes burned, and his hand went to his sword to kill him. He rejected merit-based appointments for commoners. Question 30. To restore the majestic awe and discipline of the Sultan's court, Ghiyasuddin Balban introduced which of the following practices in his court? Sajda, the practice of prostrating before the Sultan. Paibos, the practice of kissing the feet of the Sultan. Naros, the celebration of the Persian Iranian New Year festival. Select the answer. Using the code given below. A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer. D. Explanation. Balban introduced highly formal Persian court etiquettes to instill fear and discipline. These included sajda, kneeling and touching the ground with one's forehead, and paibos, kissing the Sultan's feet. He also introduced the grand Persian spring festival of Nowruz to exhibit the wealth and splendor of his court. All three are correct. Question 31. With reference to Balban's military and administrative reforms, consider the following statements. He separated the military department from the general administrative civil department. He created a specialized central military department called Diwan-i-Ars, headed by the Araz-i-Mamalik. He completely disbanded the local spy system, Barids, to earn the trust of his provincial governors. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer. A. Explanation statement 1 is correct. Balban separated military administration from the financial general administration, Diwan-i-Wazirat, to ensure swift action against internal rebellions and external Mongol attacks. Statement 2 is correct. He created the specialized central military department called Diwan-i-Ars, headed by the Araz-i-Mamalik, with Imad-ul-Mulk being his first Araz, which looked after recruitment, salary, and equipment of the army. Statement 3 is incorrect. Balban did not disband the spy system. Instead, he highly strengthened and expanded it. He appointed secret spies, Barids, in every province, district, and major household to report directly to him on the activities of his nobles, which helped him crack down on any potential rebellions. Question 32. Balban's famous policy of blood and iron was primarily directed and executed against which of the following groups? A. The Mongol invaders under Genghis Khan. B. The Mawadis, the Mios, and the Kandahar Rajputs, who disrupted the law and order around Delhi. The Kakatiya rulers of Warangal in South India. D. The Arab traders monopolizing the Indian Ocean trade. Answer. B. Explanation. Balban's policy of blood and iron, ruthless suppression of rebels with military force and executions, was primarily aimed at resolving the critical law and order situation around Delhi. The Mawatis, plundering Delhi's outskirts, the robber gangs of Meos and the Rajputs of Qatar, modern Rohilkhand, had made trade and travel impossible. Balban cleared the dense forests around Delhi, hunted down the Mawatis, built forts, stationed garrison troops, and carried out mass public executions of rebels to restore absolute peace. Question 33. Which of the following campaigns was the only military campaign Ghiyasuddin Balban personally led outside the territories of Delhi during his entire reign as Sultan? A. Mewat Campaign. B. Gwalior Campaign. C. Bengal Campaign against the rebel governor Turul Khan. D. Malwa Campaign against Raja Bhoja II. Answer. C. Explanation. Balban generally avoided leaving Delhi due to the constant threat of Mongol invasions. However, in 1279 AD, the governor of Bengal Turul Khan declared independence and assumed royal titles. After his generals failed twice, Balban took the rebellion as a direct challenge to his authority. He personally led a massive military campaign to Bengal, along with his son Bughra Khan, hunted down Turul, and executed him and his followers in a brutally public manner. Question 34. With reference to the Khilji Revolution of 1290 AD, consider the following statements. It marked the collapse of the racial monopoly of power held by the Ilbari Turkish nobility over the Delhi Sultanate. It was led by Jalaluddin Khilji, who established the Khilji dynasty. The revolution opened up high administrative and military positions to Indian Muslims and local Hindus on the basis of merit. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only. B. 2 and 3 only. C. 1 and 3 only. D. 1, 2 and 3. Answer. D. Explanation. Statement 1 is correct. The Khilji Revolution of 1290 AD ended the rule of the Ilbari Turks, represented by Balban's successors like Kaikubad and Kayamars, who held a strict racial monopoly over administrative power. Statement 2 is correct. The revolution was spearheaded by Jalaluddin Firoz Khilji, an Afghan Turk military commander who assassinated Kayamars to ascend the throne. Statement 3 is correct. The revolution was socially transformative. It democratized the administrative services of the Sultanate, opening up prestigious posts to non-Turkish Muslims, Indian Muslims, and local Hindus on the basis of political capability and military merit rather than birth. Question 35. Which of the following sultans of Delhi, while abandoning the siege of Ranthambore in 1291 AD, famously stated, "I do not value even 10 such forts as worth a single hair of a Muslim"? A. Shamsuddin Iltutmish. B. Jalaluddin Khilji. Ki. Alauddin Khilji. D. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. Answer. B. Explanation. Jalaluddin Khilji was an old, ascended the throne at 70, an exceptionally mild-mannered, peaceful ruler who hated shedding Muslim blood. In 1291 AD, he marched to capture the strong fort of Ranthambore. Finding the defense extremely formidable and realizing that capturing it would cost hundreds of lives, he lifted the siege, famously stating to his disappointed court, "I do not value even 10 such forts as worth a single hair of a Muslim." Question 36. During the reign of Jalaluddin Khilji, thousands of Mongols converted to Islam settled in the suburbs of Delhi, known as Mongolpuri, and came to be known in medieval history as A. Chahalgani. B. Alai Turks. C. New Muslims, Navan Musalman. D. Barids. Answer. C. Explanation. In 1292 AD, a massive Mongol army under Halaku's grandson Abdullah invaded India. Jalaluddin Khilji successfully defeated them. A compromise was reached, and a large group of Mongols, led by Ulu Khan, a descendant of Genghis Khan, decided to stay back in India. They embraced Islam, settled in the newly created suburb of Delhi named Mongolpuri, and were historically referred to as the New Muslims, Navan Musalman. Question 37. With reference to the legendary market reforms of Alauddin Khilji, consider the following statements. He established 3 separate markets in Delhi, one for food grains, one for costly cloths, Sira-i-Adl, and one for horses, slaves, and cattle. Prices of all essential commodities were fixed and strictly regulated by the state. The market administration was headed by an officer called Shana-i-Mandi and overseen by the Diwan-i-Riyasa. Spies called Barids and Munhians were appointed to report daily on market activities directly to the Sultan. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only. B. 2, 3, and 4 only. C. 1, 3, and 4 only. D. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Answer. D. Explanation. All statements are correct. Alauddin Khilji's price control and market reforms were unique. He categorized markets into three divisions: mandi, grains, sara-i-adl, cloth, sugar, dried fruits, butter, and a separate market for horses, slaves, and livestock. Prices were static and fixed by royal decrees. The Department of Diwan-i-Riyasat, headed by Yaqub, was created to supervise the entire system, and each market had a shana, superintendent. A powerful espionage network of barids, intelligence officers, and munians, secret agent spies, checked weights, measures, and black marketing. Question 38. To execute his centralizing and fiscal auditing reforms, Alauddin Khilji established which of the following specialized departments? A. Diwan-i-Arts, B. Diwan-i-Mustakhraj, C. Diwan-i-Amir Kohi, D. Diwan-i-Riyasa. Answer. B. Explanation. Alauddin Khilji created the Diwan-i-Mustakhraj, Department of Arrears and Auditing, to recover outstanding land revenue dues from provincial governors, revenue collectors, and local agents, mukatis, amils, kots, and mukaddams. This helped eliminate corruption among revenue officials and ensured that the treasury received its share. Diwan-i-Ars was Balban's military department. Diwan-i-Amir Kohi was the agricultural department of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Diwan-i-Riyasat was the trade regulatory department. Question 39. With reference to the agrarian reforms of Alauddin Khilji, consider the following statements. He introduced the Masahat system, which determined land revenue based on the actual scientific measurement of cultivated land. He fixed the land revenue at 50% of the gross produce of the land. He introduced two new taxes: gari, house tax, and chari, pasture tax for milch animals. He restored the local hereditary revenue collectors, kots and mukaddams, to their traditional tax-free status. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only, B. 2, 3, and 4 only, C. 1, 2, and 3 only, D. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Answer. C. Explanation. Statement 1 is correct. Alauddin Khilji was the first Sultan of Delhi to introduce the Masahat system, where land was measured and revenue was assessed based on standard units of measurement. Bafa-i-Biswa. Statement 2 is correct. He maximized the revenue of the state by demanding 50% of the total agricultural yield as tax. Statement 3 is correct. He expanded the tax bracket by imposing gari on residential dwellings and chari on pasture grazing lands. Statement 4 is incorrect. Alauddin highly suppressed the local Hindu intermediaries like kots, mukaddams, and chauduris. He abolished their centuries-old privileges, made them pay tax like ordinary peasants, balahars, and banned them from keeping weapons or riding horses. Question 40. Consider the following pairs of southern kingdoms and their rulers defeated by Alauddin Khilji's legendary commander Malik Kafur: Devagiri, Yadava ruler Ramachandra Deva, Warangal Kakadiya ruler Pratap Rudra Deva, Dwarasamudra Hoysala ruler Virbalala, Third Pandya Kingdom Virpandya, and Sundar Pandya. Which of the pairs given above are correctly matched? A. 1 and 2 only, B. 2, 3, and 4 only, D. 1, 3, and 4 only. Answer. D. Explanation. All the pairs are correctly matched. Malik Kafur, also known as Hazar Dinari, acquired during the Gujarat campaign of 1299 for 1,000 tankas, led 4 highly successful expeditions into deep South India. He conquered Yadava king Ramachandra Deva of Devagiri, who surrendered and was given the title of Raya Rayan by Alauddin. He besieged Prataprudra Deva of Warangal, who surrendered his wealth and sent his own golden statue wrapped in chains as a symbol of absolute submission. He defeated Virbalala III of Dwarasamudra. He plundered the Pandya capital Madurai, capturing immense wealth, while the brothers Vir and Sundar Pandya fled into the jungles. Question 41. Who among the following sultans of Delhi took the extreme step of declaring himself as the Khalifat-ullah, the Kali representative of God, completely rejecting the spiritual authority of the Caliph of Baghdad, and was historically known to appear in court in women's clothing? A. Alauddin Khilji, B. Kutubuddin Mubarak Shah Khilji, C. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, D. Nasiruddin Khusro Shah. Answer. B. Explanation. Kutubuddin Mubarak Shah Khilji, 1316 to 1320 AD, the son of Alauddin Khilji, was an highly eccentric and degenerate ruler. He completely disregarded Islamic customs and proclaimed himself as the Caliph, Khalifat-ullah. Historical accounts by Barani record that he suffered from severe psychological and behavioral issues, frequently appearing in court naked or dressed in women's fine silks, running wildly among his courtiers. Question 42. With reference to the reign of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, 1320 to 1325 AD, Which of the following statements are correct? He was the first Sultan of Delhi to build massive state-sponsored irrigation canals for agriculture. He systematically reversed Aladdin's harsh agrarian taxation policies, reducing the revenue demand to 1/3 or 1/2. He reinstated the traditional local revenue collectors, Qats and Muqaddams, and granted them Haq-i-Kodi, tax collection commission. Select the answer using the code given below. A, 1 and 2 only B, 2 only C, 2 and 3 only D, 1, 2, and 3. Answer. D. Explanation Statement 1 is correct. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq is historically credited as the pioneer of state-funded canal and well irrigation networks in the Delhi Sultanate. Statement 2 is correct. He wanted to ease the burden on peasants. Rayat. He reversed Aladdin's 50% tax policy, reducing it to around 100, and established a rule that the land revenue should not be increased by more than 1/10 or 1/11 in any single year. Statement 3 is correct. He followed a policy of conciliation, Razam-i-Mian, and restored the rights of Qats and Muqaddams, Haq-i-Kodi and Kisma-i-Kodi, allowing them to collect tax and keep their legitimate commissions. Question 43. During the devastating Gangetic famine in the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, what was the primary purpose of the Diwan-i-Amir Kohi Department? A. To recruit and train specialized cavalry troops to defend the western border. B. To scientifically survey and bring barren lands under cultivation by providing sondar, state agricultural loans, to peasants. 2. Manage the state's central grain storage and rationing system during droughts. D. To build massive public welfare complexes like free hospitals, Darul Safa. Answer. B. Explanation. When the fertile Doab region was struck by a severe drought and famine, Muhammad bin Tughlaq established a separate department of agriculture called Diwan-i-Amir Kohi. The objective was to bring more land under cultivation by dividing territory into agricultural circles, Kohi, allocating state funds to clear barren land, and distributing sondar or takavi, agricultural advance loans, to peasants for seeds, cattle, and digging wells. However, due to corruption and poor implementation, the scheme failed. Question 44. With reference to the medieval traveler Ibn Battuta, consider the following statements. He belonged to Morocco, North Africa, and arrived in India during the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq in 1333 AD. He was appointed as the Qazi, judge, of Delhi by the Sultan, and was later sent as an imperial envoy to the Mughal Emperor of China in 1342 AD. He authored the famous travelogue Rila in the Persian language. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2, and 3. Answer. Explanation Statement 1 is correct. Ibn Battuta was a globetrotter who belonged to Tangier, Morocco. He reached the court of Muhammad bin Tughlaq in Delhi in 1333 AD. Statement 2 is correct. Highly impressed by his scholarship, the Sultan appointed him as the chief Qazi of Delhi for several years. In 1342 AD, he was released from prison after a brief period of disfavor, and sent as Delhi's diplomatic envoy to the Yuan dynasty of China. Statement 3 is incorrect. Ibn Battuta authored his famous travelogue Rila, The Journey, in the Arabic language, not Persian. Question 45. Which of the following fiscal and religious policies are historically attributed to Sultan Firoz Shah Tughlaq? Abolition of 24 illegal and oppressive taxes, abwabs, retaining only the 4 taxes approved by Sharia: jizya, zakat, khams, and kharaj. Imposition of jizya on Brahmins for the first time in the history of the Delhi Sultanate. Imposition of haq-i-shurb, irrigation water tax, of 1/2 of the yield on lands irrigated by state-constructed canals. Select the answer using the code given below. A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2, and 3. Answer. E. Explanation Statement 1 is correct. To reform the fiscal structure and placate orthodox theologians, Firoz Shah Tughlaq abolished nearly 24 illegal cesses, abwabs, and strictly retained only the 4 taxes sanctioned by the Sharia: kharaj, kham, zakat, and jizya. Statement 2 is correct. He was a highly orthodox Sunni who wanted to demonstrate his compliance with Islamic law. He was the very first sultan to impose the jizya tax on Brahmins who had historically been exempted. Statement 3 is correct. He constructed extensive canal networks. After consulting with religious scholars, he introduced haq-i-shurb, an irrigation tax of 10% of the agricultural produce on farmers using state canal water. Model 3 Vijayanagara and Bahmani Empires. Questions 46-65. Question 46. With reference to the foundation of the Vijayanagara Empire in 1336 AD, consider the following statements. The empire was established on the banks of the river Tungabhadra by two brothers Harihara and Bukai. The brothers were formerly in the service of the Kakatiyas of Warangal and Kampili, and were later converted to Islam by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. They were reconverted to Hinduism and inspired to establish a sovereign empire by the great Saint Vidyaranya of the Sringeri Matha. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2, and 3. Answer. D. Explanation Statement 1 is correct. The Vijayanagara Empire was established in 1336 AD on the southern bank of the Tungabhadra River by Harihara and Bukai, who belonged to the Sangama dynasty. Statement 2 is correct. The brothers served the Kakatiyas and then the treasury of Kampili. When Kampili was sacked by Muhammad bin Tughlaq, they were taken as prisoners to Delhi, forced to convert to Islam, and sent back to the south to suppress local rebellions. Statement 3 is correct. While in the south, they met the scholarly sage Vidyaranya, the head priest of Sringeri Matha, and his brother Sayana, the Vedic commentator. Vidyaranya reconverted them to Hinduism and inspired them to throw off the sultan's yoke and establish a sovereign empire, Vijayanagar, or the City of Victory. Question 47. The legendary Battle of Mughal over the fertile Raikur Doab, which witnessed the first historical use of gunpowder and artillery in southern India, was fought between A. Harihara II and Firuz Shah Bahmani B, Buka I and Muhammad Shah I Bahmani C, Devraya I II and Ahmad Shah Bahmani D, Krishnadevaraya and Adil Shah of Bijapur. Answer. B. Explanation. The first major military clash between the newly formed Vijayanagar and Bahmani empires over the disputed Raikur Doab was the Battle of Mughal, circa 1367 AD. Fought between Buka I of Vijayanagar and Muhammad Shah I Bahmani, this battle is highly significant in Indian military history as it marked the earliest recorded use of artillery and gunpowder weapons in the Deccan. Question 48. With reference to the reign of the Sangama ruler Devaraya I, 1406 to 1422 AD, consider the following statements. He constructed a massive dam across the river Tungabhadra to overcome the water shortage in the capital city. He lost the humiliating war of the Sonar's daughter to the Bahmani ruler Firoz Shah. The famous Italian traveler Niccolò Conti visited Vijayanagar during his reign in 1420 AD. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2, and 3. Answer. D. Explanation Statement 1 is correct. Devaraya I was a visionary builder. He built a massive dam across the Tungabhadra River and designed a 15-mile-long aqueduct to bring water directly into the capital city of Vijayanagar to solve its severe water scarcity and irrigate local farms. Statement 2 is correct. He was defeated by the Bahmani Sultan Tajuddin Firoz Shah in the legendary War of the Sonar's Daughter, fought over a beautiful girl of Mughal. As part of the peace treaty, Devaraya I was forced to give his daughter in marriage to the Bahmani Sultan. Statement 3 is correct. The prominent Venetian, Italian merchant, and traveler Niccolò Conti visited the court of Devaraya in 1420 AD, leaving a highly detailed and vivid account of the city-size population, court, and festivals. Question 49. Who among the following Vijayanagar emperors assumed the majestic title of Gajabedegara, the elephant hunter, and sent a legendary military expedition across the sea to collect tribute from the rulers of Sri Lanka? A. Harihara I B, Devaraya II, Krishnadevaraya D, Achyutadevaraya? Answer. B. Explanation. Devaraya II, 1425 to 1446 AD, also known as Prouda Devaraya, was the greatest king of the Sangama dynasty. He was an exceptional military general and took the title of Gajabedegara, hunter of elephants. He highly reformed his army by recruiting thousands of skilled Muslim archers and horsemen, built up a powerful navy, and sent a successful overseas expedition under his commander Lakana Dandesha to extract tribute from the king of Sri Lanka. Question 50. With reference to the foreign policy of Harihara II, 1377 to 4 AD, which of the following is historically accurate? A. He was the first Vijayanagar ruler to capture the highly strategic ports of Goa and Dabhol from the Bahmani Sultanate, establishing naval dominance. B. He signed a permanent treaty of partition with the King of Portugal. C. He sent an embassy to the Chinese Tang court in 1374 AD. D. He was completely defeated and made a vassal of the Sultan of Bijapur. Answer. A. Explanation. Harihara II took advantage of the internal weakness of the Bahmani Sultanate and successfully expanded his kingdom's borders. He captured the strategic western ports of Goa Shal and Dabhol from the Bahmanis. This was a massive economic and military victory, as it gave Vijayanagar control over the lucrative horse import trade from Arabia and Persia. He was also the first to assume the title of Maharajadiraja. Question 51. Consider the following famous medieval travelers who visited the Indian subcontinent. Niccolo Conti, Venetian merchant who visited during the reign of Devaraya I. Abdur Razak, Persian ambassador sent by Shah Rukh of Persia, who visited during the reign of Devaraya II. Athanasius Nikitin, Russian merchant who visited the Bahmani Kingdom under Muhammad III. Duarte Barbosa and Domingo Pais, Portuguese travelers who visited during the reign of Krishnadevaraya. Which of the travelers listed above are correctly matched with their historical visits? A. 1 and 2, only B. 2, 3, and 4, only C. 1, 3, and 4, only D. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Answer. D. Explanation. All four pairs are correctly matched. Niccolo Conti visited in 1420. Devaraya I. Abdur Razak visited in 1443. Devaraya II, describing Vijayanagar as one of the most magnificent cities he had ever seen in the world. Nikitin was a Russian traveler who visited Bidar, the capital of the Bahmanis, in 1470 AD, leaving a description of Bahmani society. Pais and Barbosa visited during the golden age of Krishnadevaraya, 1509 to 1529, writing extensive journals on court life, the king's personality, and military strength. Question 52. The Portuguese traveler Fernão Nunes, who visited the court of Akyutadevaraya, left a detailed account of the status of women in the Vijayanagara Empire. According to his writings, women were highly skilled in which of the following fields? Wrestling and combat sports, astrology and reading omen charts, counting, bookkeeping, and state record keeping, administrative and judicial services. Select the answer. Using the code given below. A. 1 and 3, only B. 2 and 4, only C. 1, 2, and 3, only D. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Answer. C. Explanation. Fernão Nunes in his chronicle highly praised the elevated status and education of women in Vijayanagar society. He explicitly wrote that the palace had women who were expert wrestlers, sword fighters, and guards, women who were highly trained in astrology and palmistry to advise the court, and women clerks who handled the palace's accounts and recorded state transactions. However, there is no historical record or mention of women acting as formal judicial heads or judges, dharmadhikari, in the state judiciary. Thus, 1, 2, and 3 are correct. Question 53. With reference to the Vijayanagar Emperor Krishnadevaraya, 1509 to 1529 AD, consider the following statements. He belonged to the Tuluva dynasty of the Vijayanagara Empire. In his autobiography Tuzuk-i-Baburi, the Mughal Emperor Babur describes him as the most powerful and formidable ruler of India. He entered into close alliance with the Portuguese governor Afonso de Albuquerque to secure a monopoly over the horse trade. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B. 2 and 3 only C. 1 and 3 only D. 1, 2, and 3. Answer. D. Explanation. Statement 1 is correct. Krishnadevaraya belonged to the Tuluva dynasty, which was founded by Veera Narasimha in 1505 AD. Statement 2 is correct. Babur, in his autobiography Tuzuk-i-Baburi, written in Chagatai Turkic, reviewed the political layout of India and called Krishnadevaraya of Vijayanagar the greatest and most powerful sovereign in Hindustan. Statement 3 is correct. Krishnadevaraya maintained friendly terms with the Portuguese. He helped Afonso de Albuquerque capture Goa from the Sultan of Bijapur in 1510 AD in return for a guaranteed exclusive monopoly over the import of Arab and Persian horses, which was critical for his cavalry. Question 54. Which of the following literary masterpieces were authored by the Vijayanagar Emperor Krishnadevaraya himself? Amukta a Telugu treatise on statecraft administration and devotion of Andal. Jambavati Kalyanam, a Sanskrit drama depicting the marriage of Krishna and Jambavati. Usha Parinayam, a Sanskrit play based on the mythological story of Usha and Aniruddha. Select the answer. Using the code given below. A. 1 only B. 2 and 3 only C. 1 and 3 only D. 1, 2, and 3. Answer. D. Explanation. Krishnadevaraya was a highly talented scholar and writer. Andhra Bhoja. He wrote Amukta in Telugu, considered one of the 5 great Telugu epics, detailing theories of political administration, and the Bhakti of Andal, Goda Devi. He also wrote 2 brilliant plays in Sanskrit, Jambavati Kalyanam and Ushaparanayam. All 3 are his works. Question 55. Consider the following matches of the Ashtadiggajas, the 8 legendary poets of Krishnadevaraya's court, and their famous works Alasani Padana Manicharatram, known as the father of Telugu poetry, Andhra Kavita Pitamaha, Nandi Timana Parijata Paharanam, Tenali Ramakrishna Panduranga Mahatmyam. Which of the matches given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer. D. Explanation. All 3 matches are highly famous and correct. Alasani Padana was the court poet laureate of Krishnadevaraya and wrote Manicharatram. Nandi Timana wrote the romantic epic Parijatapaharanam about Krishna bringing the Parijata tree from heaven for Satyabhama. Tenali Ramakrishna, the famous wit and court jester, was an highly serious poet who composed the classic Panduranga Mahatmyam. Question 56. Consider the following architectural monuments. The Vitalaswamy Temple, containing 56 intricately carved pillars that emit musical notes when struck. The Hazara Rama Temple, displaying scenes from the Ramayana on its stone walls. The grand stone chariot located in the temple courtyard. Which of the monuments listed above were constructed under the personal patronage of Krishnadevaraya? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer. D. Explanation. All the listed structures are classical examples of the high-climax Vijayanagar style of architecture built during the reign of Krishnadevaraya at Hampi. He constructed the Vitalaswamy Temple, with its famous 56 musical pillars, and the monolithic stone chariot representing Garuda's vehicle, and the Hazara Rama Temple, intended for the personal worship of the royal family, featuring carved bas-reliefs of the epic Ramayana on its walls. Question 57. The Portuguese traveler Domingo Paes, who visited India in 1520 AD, described the capital city of Vijayanagar as an highly decayed, desolate town with no trade or population. B. A city as large as Rome, filled with beautiful groves, orchards, and gardens where people of all nations resided in prosperity. A completely Islamic fortress with no temples or public squares. D. An highly unhealthy swamp where trade was conducted only via barter. Answer. The explanation. Domingo Paes was stunned by the beauty and scale of Hampi Vijayanagar during Krishnadevaraya's peak reign. In his memoirs, he wrote that the city was as spacious as Rome, highly prosperous with countless houses, public markets overflowing with provisions, and beautiful orchards, saying that it was the best provided city in the world where merchants from all countries flocked. Question 58. With reference to the administrative machinery of the Vijayanagara Empire, consider the following statements. The Nayankara system was a system of military land grants where military chiefs, Nayakas, were allocated lands, Amara, in return for maintaining troops for the king. The Iyengar system was an highly organized local village administration system governed by a body of 12 village officials. Both Nayakas and Iyengars held completely non-transferable and hereditary posts since the beginning of the Sangama dynasty. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer. A. Explanation. Statement 1 is correct. The Nayankara system was the backbone of Vijayanagar's military administration. The king, Raya, distributed land parcels, Amaram, to military commanders, Amaranayakas, who collected taxes and maintained a specified military contingent for the king's campaigns. Statement 2 is correct. The Iyengar system was the rural self-government model of Vijayanagar. Every village was an autonomous unit governed by 12 officials, Iyengars, including the headman, accountant, watchman, blacksmith, and potter. They were paid via tax-free land grants or village revenue shares. Statement 3 is incorrect. The posts were not always hereditary or non-transferable. During the early Sangama and Saluva dynasties, the Raya exercised absolute authority to transfer Nayakas to different regions to prevent them from becoming too powerful. It was only during the weak Aravidu dynasty that these positions became completely hereditary and uncontrollable, leading to decentralization and decay. Question 59. The epoch-making Battle of Talikota, also known as the Battle of Rakshasi Tungadi or Banihadi, fought on January 23, 1565, resulted in the destruction of Hampi. Which of the following Deccan sultanates did not participate in the Grand Alliance against Vijayanagar? A. Bijapur, B. Ahmadnagar, C. Berar, D. Golconda. Answer. See explanation. The Battle of Talikota, 1565 AD, was a watershed moment in South Indian history. The high-handed and manipulative foreign policy of Vijayanagara's regent Ramaraya forced the rival Deccan sultanates to unite. A grand coalition consisting of Bijapur, Ahmadnagar, Golconda, and Bidar attacked Vijayanagar. Berar did not participate in this alliance due to its intense hostility and ongoing territorial disputes with Ahmadnagar. The alliance routed the Vijayanagar army, executed Ramaraya, and spent months systematically sacking and burning the capital city of Hampi. Question 60. The famous Virupaksha temple at Hampi dedicated to Lord Shiva holds deep historical significance. With reference to this monument, consider the following statements. Lord Virupaksha was the patron deity of the Vijayanagar rulers, and all royal decrees were signed in his name, Sri Virupaksha. The temple was built using the classic Dravidian-style temple architecture. The temple contains a spacious columned hall, mandapa, built by Krishnavaraya to celebrate his accession to the throne. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer. D. Explanation statement 1 is correct. Lord Virupaksha, an incarnation of Shiva, was the official patron deity of the Vijayanagara Empire. The kings ruled as agents or vassals of the deity, and all royal documents and charters were signed in Kannada script as Sri Virupaksha. Statement 2 is correct. The temple exhibits the grand climax of Dravidian architecture characterized by tall gopurams, gateways, spacious courtyards, and highly carved pillar halls. Statement 3 is correct. To commemorate his imperial coronation accession in 1509 AD, Krishnadevaraya constructed the highly ornate central pillared hall, Rangamandapa, in front of the Sanctum Sanctorum. Question 61. Who among the following founded the Bahmani Sultanate in 1347 AD, establishing Gulbarga as his capital and adopting the title of Alauddin Hasan Bahman Shah A. Hasan Gangu B. Mahmud Gawan C. Tajuddin Firoz Shah D. Yusuf Adil Shah? Answer. A. Explanation. The Bahmani Kingdom was founded in 1347 AD by a rebel Afghan Turk noble named Alauddin Hasan Bahman Shah, popularly known as Hasan Gangu, initially a revenue collector in Delhi under Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He led a successful Deccan rebellion against Delhi's rule and established his capital at Gulbarga. Question 62. With reference to the Bahmani Sultan Tajuddin Firoz Shah, 1397 to 1422 AD, which of the following statements are correct? He constructed a grand astronomical observatory at Daulatabad to study the stars and cosmic movements. He opened up the administration of the Bahmani state by recruiting local Hindus, particularly Brahmins, on the basis of merit. He actively invited and settled Asian foreigners, Afakis, to bring international culture into his court. Select the answer using the code given below. A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2, and 3. Answer. D. Explanation. All statements are correct. Tajuddin Firoz Shah was a highly educated and scientifically minded sultan. He built an astronomical observatory at Daulatabad under the guidance of astronomer Lutfullah. He initiated the policy of inducting local Deccan Hindus and Brahmins into high administrative posts, and he encouraged the immigration of Afakis, foreigners from Persia, Iraq, and Arabia, to build a cosmopolitan court, which later created a deep rivalry between the native Deccanis and the newly settled Afakis. Question 63. With reference to the administrative and military reforms of the famous Bahmani Prime Minister Mahmud Gawan, consider the following statements. He divided the Bahmani Sultanate into 8 provinces, tarafs, instead of the traditional 4 to curb the power of provincial governors. He reclaimed the west coast ports of Goa and Dabhol from the Vijayanagara Empire. He founded a magnificent 3-story Islamic college, madrasa, at Bidar to promote education and science. He was eventually executed on false charges of treason by the Bahmani Sultan Muhammad Shah III. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2, 3, and 4 only C, 1, 3, and 4 only D, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Answer. D. Explanation. All 4 statements are correct. Mahmud Gawan was a highly brilliant Persian-born minister, a faqih, who served as the prime minister of the Bahmani state under Muhammad Shah III. To strengthen central control, he divided the 4 large provinces, tarafs, into 8 smaller ones and put strict financial audits in place. He captured Goa from Vijayanagar, constructed the famous monumental Bidar Madrasa, which housed a library of 3000000 compiled document named Riyazul in a compiled document named Riyazul Insha. Due to a conspiracy by jealous native Deccani nobles, a forged letter was presented to the drunk sultan, who ordered Gawan's execution in 1481 AD. Question 64. Following the collapse of the Bahmani Kingdom, it disintegrated into 5 independent Deccani sultanates. Consider the following matches of the sultanates and their founding dynasties: Bijapur, Adil Shahi Dynasty, Ahmadnagar, Nizam Shahi Dynasty, Golconda, QTB Shahi Dynasty, Berar, Barid Shahi Dynasty, Berar, Imad Shahi Dynasty. Which of the matches given above are correct? A. 1, 2, and 3 only. B. 2, 3, and 4 only. D. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Answer. D. Explanation. All 5 matches are correct. Following the execution of Mahmud Gawan, the Bahmani Kingdom fell into decline, and by 1527 AD it had completely fractured into 5 successor states: Bijapur under Yusuf Adil Shah, Adil Shah, Adil Shah, Adil Shahi; Ahmadnagar under Malik Ahmad, Nizam Shahi; Golconda under Quli Qubi Shah, Qubi Shahi; Vidar under Amir Ali Barid, Barid Shahi; Berar under Fatullah Imad ul Mulk, Imad Shahi. Question 65. With reference to the military and civil architecture of the Deccan Sultanates, consider the following statements. The Gol Gumbaz in Bijapur, housing the tomb of Muhammad Adil Shah, features one of the largest single domes in the world. The Charminar in Hyderabad was constructed by Quli Qubi Shah of Golconda to commemorate the eradication of a deadly plague. Both monuments represent a distinct Deccan style of architecture which blends Indo-Islamic elements with Persian, Turkish, and local Hindu features. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only. B. 2 and 3 only. C. 1 and 3 only. D. 1, 2, and 3. Answer. D. Explanation. Statement 1 is correct. The Gol Gumbaz, built in 1656 AD in Bijapur, is the tomb of Muhammad Adil Shah. Its colossal dome is 44 meters in diameter, making it one of the largest freestanding monolithic domes in the world, famous for its Whispering Gallery. Statement 2 is correct. The Charminar, built in 1591 AD in Hyderabad, was constructed by Muhammad Quli Qubi Shah of the Qutb Shahi dynasty to commemorate the end of a devastating plague in his newly founded city of Hyderabad. Statement 3 is correct. Both structures are prime examples of the regional Deccan style, which merged Persian arches and domes with local Hindu carving traditions and floral decorations. Model 4. Bhakti and Sufi movements. Question 6680. Question 66. With reference to the philosophical contributions of Adi Shankara, consider the following statements. He was the founder of the Advaita, non-dualism, school of Hindu philosophy. He advocated that Brahman is the ultimate and sole reality, whereas the material world is merely mithya, illusion, falsehood. He established 4 major monasteries, mathas, at Sringeri, Dwarka, Puri, and Badranath, Jyotirmath, to unify the spiritual landscape of India. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only. B. 2 and 3 only. C. 1 and 3 only. D. 1, 2, and 3. Answer. D. Explanation. Statement 1 is correct. Adi Shankaracharya, 8th century AD, propounded the philosophy of Advaita Vedanta, absolute non-dualism, which claims that there is no distinction between the individual soul, Atman, and the supreme cosmic reality, Brahman. Statement 2 is correct. He summarized his philosophy as Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Napara. Brahman is the only truth, the world is unreal, and the individual soul is none other than Brahman. Statement 3 is correct. He traveled across India and established 4 key mathas at 4 cardinal points: Sringeri, South Karnataka; Dwarka, West Gujarat; Govardhan Matha at Puri, East Odisha; and Jyotirmath at Badranath, North Uttarakhand. Question 67. With reference to the Bhakti Saint Ramanujacharya, 1017 to 1137 AD, who was recently honored with the Statue of Equality in Hyderabad, consider the following statements. He was the main propounder of the Vishishtadvaita, qualified non-dualism, school of philosophy. He advocated that the material world and individual souls are real, representing a part or attribute of Brahman. He rejected the spiritual authority of the Vedas and proposed that salvation is strictly limited to upper caste Hindus. His famous works include Shribhashya and Vedartha Sangraha. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1, 2, and 3 only. B. 1, 2, and 4 only. C. 2, 3, and 4 only. D. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Answer. B. Explanation. Statement 1 is correct. Ramanujacharya was the chief propounder of Vishishtadvaita, or qualified non-dualism, within the Sri Vaishnavism tradition. Statement 2 is correct. Unlike Shankara, Ramanuja argued that the world, Jagat, and the individual souls, Chit, are real. They are the body or attributes, Vishana, of the Supreme Lord, Ishvara Brahman. Statement 3 is incorrect. Ramanujacharya did not reject the Vedas. He provided a firm Vedic and philosophical foundation for bhakti. He was highly progressive and stood for social equality, actively opening the path of devotion, bhakti, and self-surrender, prapati, to all sections of society, including lower castes and women whom he initiated into Vaishnavism. Statement 4 is correct. His major literary works include Sri Bhashya, a commentary on the Brahma Sutras, Vedartha Sangraha, and Gita Bhashya. Question 68. Which of the following medieval Indian philosophers propounded the Dvaita, absolute dualism, school of Vedanta philosophy, asserting that the soul and God are completely separate, distinct, and eternal entities? A. Adi Shankara. B. Ramanujacharya. C. Madhvacharya. D. Nimbarkacharya. Answer. C. Explanation. Madhvacharya, 1238 to 1317 AD, of Karnataka, was the founder of the Dvaita, dualism, school of Vedanta. He strongly opposed the non-dualism of Shankara. Madhva asserted that there is an absolute and eternal distinction between God, Hari Vishnu, the individual soul, Atman, and the material world, Jada. Salvation is achieved only through the grace, prasada, of God, which is won through deep devotion, bhakti. Question 69. With reference to the Bhakti saint Nimbarkacharya, consider the following statements. He was a contemporary of the Mughal Emperor Akbar. He propounded the Dvaitadvaita, dualistic non-dualism, school of philosophy. His spiritual devotion centered around the worship of Radha and Krishna. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only. B. 2 and 3 only. C. 1 and 3 only. D. 1, 2, and 3. Answer. B. Explanation. Statement 1 is incorrect. Nimbarkacharya lived during the 11th-12th centuries AD, a contemporary of Ramanuja, long before the Mughal Emperor Akbar, who ruled in the 16th century, 1556 to 1605 AD. Statement 2 is correct. He propounded the Dvaitadvaita, or Bheda philosophy, which means dualistic non-dualism. According to him, the soul and the world are both different, Bheda, and non-different, Abheda, from God. Statement 3 is correct. Nimbarka was a pioneer of the Vaishnava Bhakti movement in North India, particularly around Vrindavan, that popularized the combined devotional worship of Lord Krishna and Radha. Question 70. Who among the following Bhakti philosophers propounded the Shuddhadvaita, pure non-dualism, philosophy, and established the Pushti Marg, path of grace, which popularized the child worship of Lord Krishna? A. Vallabhacharya. B. Madhvacharya. C. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. D. Kabir. Answer. A. Explanation. Vallabhacharya, 1479 to 1531 AD, was a Telugu Brahmin philosopher who settled in Vrindavan. He propounded the Shuddhadvaita, pure non-dualism, philosophy which completely rejects the concept of Maya, illusion, stating that the soul and world are pure manifestations of Krishna. He established the Pushti Marg, the path of divine grace, which focused on deep ecstatic devotion to Lord Krishna in his child form, Srinathji. Question 71. With reference to the prominent Bhakti saint Kabir, consider the following statements. He belonged to the Nirguna Bhakti tradition, which rejected idolatry rituals and caste hierarchies. His teachings are compiled in the Bijak, which contains verses in the form of Sabad, Sakhi, and Ramani. Many of his verses are included in the holy scripture of Sikhism, the Adi Granth, Guru Granth Sahib. He was a contemporary of the Delhi Sultan Sikandar Lodi. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1, 2, and 3 only. B. 2, 3, and 4 only. C. 1, 3, and 4 only. D. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Answer. D. Explanation. All statements are correct. Kabir, 15th century, was a revolutionary weaver poet. He was a leader of the Nirguna Bhakti movement, devotion to a formless God, and criticized Orthodox Hindu and Islamic rituals alike. His poetic compositions are preserved in the Bijak, compiled by his disciples. His deep spiritual impact on Sikhism is shown by the inclusion of over 500 of his verses in the Guru Granth Sahib. He lived during the late 15th, early 16th century, and was a contemporary of Sultan Sikandar Lodi. Question 72. With reference to the religious philosophy and life of Guru Nanak, consider the following statements. He was the founder of Sikhism and advocated Nirguna Bhakti, rejecting external rituals, fasting, and idol worship. He introduced the concepts of langar, community kitchen, and sangat, congregation, to eliminate social and caste distinctions. He was a contemporary of Babur and is mentioned in Babur's memoirs. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only, B. 2 and 3 only, C. 1 and 3 only, D. 1, 2, and 3. Answer. D. Explanation statement 1 is correct. Guru Nanak, 1469 to 1539 AD, founded Sikhism. He preached the oneness of God, Ik Onkar, and advocated the Nirguna tradition, highly condemning caste divisions, untouchability, and superficial religious rituals. Statement 2 is correct. He institutionalized Sangat, sitting together in congregation for prayer, and Langar, eating together from a common kitchen, where kings and peasants, high castes and low castes, sat side by side on the floor. Statement 3 is correct. He lived during the transition from the Lodi dynasty to the Mughals. He was a contemporary of Babur. His verses in the Guru Granth Sahib, known as Baburvani, contain eyewitness descriptions of the destruction and suffering caused by Babur's military invasions of Punjab. Question 73. The famous Bhakti saint Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who revolutionized the Bhakti movement in Bengal through kirtan, congregational singing and dancing, and founded Gaudiya Vaishnavism, was a contemporary of which of the following rulers of Bengal? A. Shamsuddin Ilyas Shah, B. Sikandar Shah, C. Alauddin Hussain Shah, D. Ghiyasuddin Azam Shah. Answer. C. Explanation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 1486 to 1534 AD, popularized ecstatic Krishna Bhakti in Bengal and Odisha. He was the founder of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. He lived during the stable and prosperous reign of Sultan Alauddin Hussain Shah, 1494 to 1519 AD, of the Hussain Shahi dynasty of Bengal. Despite being a Muslim, Hussain Shah was highly liberal and gave complete freedom to Chaitanya to preach his Bhakti message throughout Bengal. Question 74. With reference to the Maharashtrian Bhakti saint Sant Tukaram, consider the following statements. He was a leading figure of the Varkari sect who popularized the devotion of Lord Vithala, a form of Krishna, of Pandharpur. His devotional poetry, written in the form of abhangas, carried a message of social equality and compassion. He was a spiritual contemporary of the Maratha ruler Chhatrapati Shivaji and the Mughal Emperor Jahangir. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only, B. 2 and 3 only, C. 1 and 3 only, D. 1, 2, and 3. Answer. D. Explanation statement 1 is correct. Sant Tukaram, 17th century, belonged to the Varkari tradition of Maharashtra. His spiritual life was dedicated to the worship of Lord Vithoba or Vithala at Pandharpur. Statement 2 is correct. He wrote thousands of abhangas, devotional hymns, in Marathi that criticized caste pride, social hypocrisy, and promoted the idea that God lives only with the poor and the downtrodden. Statement 3 is correct. Tukaram's life, circa 1608 to 1649 AD, overlapped with the reign of Mughal Emperor Jahangir, 1605 to 1627, and the early life of Chhatrapati Shivaji, who highly respected the saint and was deeply influenced by the Varkari Bhakti movement. Question 75. Consider the following statements regarding the medieval southern religious movements. The Siddhas or Sitars of the Tamil region were monotheistic, highly condemned idolatry, and wrote anti-caste devotional poetry. The Lingayats of Karnataka rejected the theory of rebirth, the caste hierarchy, and the practice of cremation. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. Both 1 and 2, D. Neither 1 nor 2. Answer. C. Explanation statement 1 is correct. The Siddhas, were Tamil nonconformist monotheistic mystics who rejected the authority of the Vedas, did not believe in idol worship or temples, and severely criticized caste hierarchies. Statement 2 is correct. The Lingayats, or Virashaivas, founded by Basavana in the 12th century, challenged the orthodox Brahminical order. They completely rejected caste, the concept of ritual impurity, and the theory of rebirth, believing that after death, a devotee merges eternally with Shiva. Instead of cremation, they buried their dead and wore a small silver box containing a lingam, Ishtalinga, around their neck. Question 76. With reference to the Sufi silsilas, orders, in India, consider the following statements. The Chishti silsila was founded in India by Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti during the late 12th century AD. The Chishtis believed in the spiritual efficacy of Sama, devotional music and singing, to induce a state of ecstasy and proximity to God. The Chishti saints maintained a strict policy of keeping themselves completely aloof from state politics, royal courts, and government appointments. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2, and 3. Answer. D. Explanation statement 1 is correct. Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti arrived in India during the Gorian invasions and established the Chishti order centered around Ajmer. Statement 2 is correct. The Chishtis popularized the practice of sama, audition of devotional music, qawwali, to facilitate spiritual intoxication and union with the divine. Statement 3 is correct. A defining feature of the Chishti saints, like Nizamuddin Auliya, Baba Farid, and Qutbuddin Bakhtiar Kaki, was their strict avoidance of royal court patronage, wealth, and administrative positions, choosing instead to live in simple poor dwellings, khankas, alongside the common people. Question 77. Who among the following Chishti Sufi saints was a disciple of Qutbuddin Bakhtiar Kaki, lived a highly ascetic life in Punjab, and whose deep devotional poetry is preserved in the Sikh holy book, the Guru Granth Sahib? A. Nizamuddin Auliya. B. Sheikh Salim Chishti. C. Baba Farid, Fariduddin Ganj I Shakar. D. Nasiruddin Chirag I Delvi. Answer. C. Explanation. Sheikh Fariduddin Ganj I Shakar, popularly known as Baba Farid, 1173 to 1266 AD, was a celebrated Chishti saint who lived in Pakpatan, Punjab. He adopted local Punjabi dialects to write sweet mystical poetry. Due to his universal message of love and peace, the fifth Sikh Guru, Guru Arjan Dev, incorporated a large collection of Baba Farid's hymns, shlokas, into the Guru Granth Sahib. Question 78. With reference to the great Sufi saint Nizamuddin Auliya, consider the following statements. He was the spiritual disciple, murid, of Baba Farid. He witnessed the reigns of 7 sultans of Delhi, but never visited the court of any of them. He is famous for his tense conflict with Sultan Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, which gave rise to the proverb, Hunuz Dili Durast, Delhi Durast, Delhi is still far away. The famous medieval Persian Hindi poet and court scholar Amir Khusro was his chief disciple. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1, 2, and 3 only B, 2, 3, and 4 only C, 1, 3, and 4 only D, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Answer. D. Explanation. All statements are correct. Nizamuddin Auliya, Mehboob-i-Ilahi, was the most prominent Chishti saint of Delhi. He was a disciple of Baba Farid. He stayed in Delhi through the reigns of 7 sultans but never went to a royal court. When Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq threatened him while returning from Bengal, the saint calmly remarked, Hunuz Dili Durast, Delhi is still far away, and the sultan died in a pavilion collapse before reaching Delhi. His favorite disciple was Amir Khusro, who was so devastated by the saint's death that he died of grief soon after. Question 79. Which of the following Sufi silsilas in India adopted a highly orthodox Sunni approach, stood in strict opposition to any liberal religious experiments, such as Akbar's Din-i-Ilahi, and completely banned the use of music and singing? A. Chishti silsila. B. Surawardi silsila. C. Naqshbandi silsila. D. Qadiri silsila. Answer. C. Explanation. The Naqshbandi silsila, introduced in India by Khwaja Baqi Billah, was highly conservative and orthodox. Its most prominent figure was Sheikh Ahmad Sirhindi, Mujaddid al-Afsani. He strongly opposed the religious synthesis of Akbar's court, particularly the Din-i-Ilahi and the Sula-i-Kul policies, and demanded strict implementation of Sharia laws. Unlike the Chishtis, the Naqshbandis strictly banned any form of music, sama, and vocal chanting, zikr-i-jali, promoting silent meditation, zikr-i-kafi. Question 80. Consider the following spiritual terms of Sufism and their meanings. Sama, audition of devotional music and singing to invoke spiritual ecstasy. Khanqa, a hospice or community center where Sufi saints lived and interacted with disciples. Zikr, rhythmic recitation and constant remembrance of the names of Allah. Pir and murid, the relationship between the spiritual master, pir, and the disciple, murid. Which of the terms given above are correctly matched with their meanings? A. 1, 2, and 3 only B, 2, 3, and 4 only C, 1, 3, and 4 only D, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Answer. D. Explanation. All 4 terms are fundamental to Sufi mysticism and are correctly matched. The pir-murid relationship represents the spiritual lineage, silsila. Zikr is the daily meditation technique. The khanqa was the physical meeting ground, and Sama was the musical gathering used to elevate the soul towards divine union. Module 5, Mughal Empire Policies, Economy et Art. Questions 81-100. Question 81. Match the following military campaigns of Babur in India with their corresponding opponents and historical significance. Battle of Panipat, 1526. Ibrahim Lodi marked the official entry of Mughals in India. Battle of Kanwa, 1527. Rana Sanga. Babur assumed the title of Ghazi and declared jihad to unite his troops. Battle of Chandri, 1528. Medini Rai secured Babur's control over Malwa and central India. Battle of Gagra, 1529. Afghan coalition under Mahmud Lodi. First historical battle in India fought on both land and water. Select the answer. Using the code given below A, 1 and 2 only B, 2, 3, and 4 only C, 1, 3, and 4 only D, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Answer. D. Explanation. All 4 pairs are historically accurate. At Panipat, Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi, introducing artillery and the Tulguma warfare technique. At Kanwa, facing the powerful Rajput coalition led by Rana Sanga of Mewar, Babur declared a holy war. Jihad, shattered his expensive drinking vessels, repealed the Tamga, customs tax, for his soldiers, won the battle, and adopted the title of Ghazi, holy warrior. At Chanderi, he defeated Medini Rai. At Gagra, he fought the combined Afghan forces of Bihar and Bengal under Mahmud Lodi. This was unique as the fighting took place both on the banks of the river and via naval skirmishes on the Ganges. Question 82. With reference to the military tactics and innovations introduced by Babur in the Indian subcontinent, consider the following statements. He is credited with the absolute first introduction of gunpowder and firearms in the Indian subcontinent. He successfully implemented the Tulguma strategy, flanking the enemy from sides, and the Ottoman, Rumi, method of arranging carts. He wrote his highly candid memoirs, the Tuzuk-i-Baburi, in the Persian language. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2, and 3. Answer. B. Explanation. Statement 1 is incorrect. Babur was not the absolute first to introduce gunpowder in India. Gunpowder and early artillery had already been used in South India and the Deccan during the 14th century, e.g. Battle of Mughal between Buka I and Bahmanis. However, Babur highly popularized, refined, and organized the use of heavy cannons and musketeers, artillery, on a massive scale in North Indian warfare. Statement 2 is correct. He combined the Tulguma flanking system, learned from the Uzbeks, with the Rumi, Ottoman, method of tying baggage carts together with leather straps to shelter the musketeers, which effectively decimated the larger armies of his opponents. Statement 3 is incorrect. Babur wrote his memoirs Tuzuk-i-Baburi, or Baburnama, in his native Chagatai Turkic language, not Persian. It was later translated into Persian under Akbar's reign by Abdul Rahim Khan Akhana. Question 83. With reference to the turbulent reign and campaigns of Humayun, consider the following statements. In the Battle of Chausa, 1539 AD, Humayun was defeated by Sher Shah Suri and barely saved his life by jumping into the Ganges assisted by a water carrier, Nizam Bisti. Following his final defeat in the Battle of Bilgram Kanauj, 1540 AD, he was forced to flee India and seek exile in Persia. He regained the throne of Delhi in 1555 AD after defeating the descendants of the Sur dynasty in the battles of Makiwara and Sirhind. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2, and 3. Answer. D. Explanation. Statement 1 is correct. At Chausa, near Buxar, Sher Shah Suri launched a surprise attack on Humayun's camp. Humayun was routed and had to leap into the Ganges River. He was saved from drowning by a humble water carrier named Nizam, whom Humayun later rewarded by allowing him to sit on the throne of Delhi for a single day, during which Nizam issued leather coins. Statement 2 is correct. In 1540 AD, Sher Shah completely defeated Humayun in the Battle of Bilgram, also known as the Battle of Kanauj. This ended the first phase of Mughal rule, and Humayun had to live in exile in Persia under Safavid protection. Statement 3 is correct. Following the collapse of Sher Shah's successors, Humayun invaded India with Persian assistance in 1555 AD. He won the battles of Makiwara and Sirhind, reclaiming his lost throne, though he died shortly after in 1556 AD. Question 84. With reference to the highly progressive civil and administrative reforms of Sher Shah Suri, 1540 to 1545 AD, Consider the following statements. He divided his empire into 63 administrative units called sarkars, districts. To keep regional governors in check, he created a specialized decentralized structure in Bengal, dividing it into 16 separate sarkars under a non-military coordinator. He introduced the rupiah, silver coin weighing 78 grains, and dam, copper coin, which formed the basis of the future currency system of India. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer. D. Explanation statement 1 is correct. Sher Shah Suri divided his empire into 63 districts called sarkars, which were further divided into parganas, sub-districts. Statement 2 is correct. Following a local military rebellion in Bengal, Sher Shah restructured its administration. Instead of appointing a single powerful military governor, he partitioned Bengal into 16 independent sarkars, each under a civilian coordinator, Qazi Fuzilat, to maintain central control. Statement 3 is correct. He was a brilliant monetary reformer. He abolished old debased coins and introduced the pure silver coin called rupiah and the copper coin called dam. This system was later adopted by the Mughals, the Marathas, and eventually the British. Question 85. The Agrarian Land Revenue Administration under Sher Shah Suri introduced several pioneering concepts. In this context, consider the following statements. He implemented a highly systematic land survey, charging the peasants 2 specialized fees: jarabana, survey tax of 5%, and mahasalana, tax collection fee of 5%. He introduced the kabuliyat, written agreement signed by the peasant, and pada, land title deed issued by the state to eliminate corruption by revenue middlemen. He calculated land revenue based on RAE, which was a detailed schedule of crop production rates compiled across different soil qualities, good, middling, and bad. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer. D. Explanation. All 3 statements are correct. Sher Shah's land revenue reforms were highly progressive. He measured land and levied a survey fee, jarabana, and collection fee, mahasilana, directly from the peasants, bypassing corrupt intermediaries. He established a direct contract with the peasant through the pada, state deed, and kabuliyat, consent of the peasant, which established the land holdings, and the tax, which was 1/3 of the produce. He classified soils into 3 categories, good, middle, bad, and prepared a rate sheet called RAE based on the average produce. This system was so efficient that Akbar later adopted it as Todar Mal's Bandobast in his early years. Question 86. With reference to the early years of Emperor Akbar and his regency under Bahram Khan, which of the following statements is historically accurate? A. Akbar was formally crowned at Delhi immediately after Humayun's death in 1556 AD. B. In the Second Battle of Panipat, 1556 AD, Bahram Khan successfully defeated the Sir General Hemu, Vikramaditya, restoring Mughal sovereignty over Delhi. C. Bahram Khan was Akbar's first designated regent appointed since Akbar's childhood in 1551 AD. D. Akbar remained under Bahram Khan's regency until his death in 1605 AD. Answer. B. Explanation statement A is incorrect. Akbar was not crowned at Delhi. He was crowned in a simple coronation ceremony at Kalanur, Punjab, under Bahram Khan's guidance. Statement B is correct. Hemu, the Hindu general of Adil Shah Sur, had captured Delhi and assumed the title of Raja Vikramaditya. Bahram Khan led the Mughal forces to defeat Hemu in the Second Battle of Panipat, securing the future of the Mughal dynasty. Statement C is incorrect. Akbar's first childhood regent guardian was Munam Khan, appointed in 1551 in Ghazni. Bahram Khan became his guardian later in 1555 AD. Statement D is incorrect. Bahram Khan's regency ended in 1560 AD when Akbar decided to take full personal charge of the empire. Question 87. With reference to Akbar's imperial Malwa campaign, 1561 to 1562 AD, consider the following statements. The first campaign was led by Adam Khan, Akbar's foster brother, which resulted in the defeat and flight of the Malwa ruler Baz Bahadur. The campaign ended in tragedy as Baz Bahadur's famous consort, the beautiful poetess musician Rani Rupmati, committed suicide to escape captivity. Due to Adam Khan's cruel conduct and refusal to send the looted spoils to Delhi, Akbar removed him and sent a second expedition under Abdullah Khan Uzbek. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer. D. Explanation. All statements are correct. In 1561, AD Akbar dispatched an army under Adam Khan, son of his wet nurse Mahamanaga, to annex Malwa. Adam Khan defeated Baz Bahadur in the Battle of Sarangpur. Adam Khan attempted to capture Baz Bahadur's harem, including the famous musician Queen Rani Rupmati, who chose to poison herself to preserve her honor. Shocked by Adam Khan's atrocities and his hoarding of the war booty, Akbar marched to Malwa, reprimanded him, and later sent Abdullah Khan Uzbek to completely stabilize and annex Malwa, while Baz Bahadur eventually surrendered and became a Mughal Mansabdar. Question 88. With reference to the Mansabdari system introduced by Akbar, consider the following statements. It was a highly organized bureaucratic and military system based on two ranks: Zat, personal rank status in the court, and Swar, number of cavalrymen the officer had to maintain. The Da-Bisti 1020 system was implemented where every 10 cavalrymen, Swar, required the Mansabdar to maintain 20 high-quality horses. Watan Jagirs were highly prestigious hereditary and non-transferable land grants given to Rajput rulers who accepted Mughal suzerainty. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2, and 3. Answer. D. Explanation. All statements are correct. The Mansabdari system was a unique administrative meritocracy. Zat represented the personal salary, prestige, and position of the noble in the court hierarchy, whereas Swar denoted the exact size of the military contingent the officer had to bring to battle. Under the Da-Bisti rule, each horseman had to maintain 2 horses, duaspa, to ensure that fresh horses were always available during rapid marches or battles. Akbar kept the system highly central by making almost all jagirs transferable, Tanka jagirs, to prevent nobles from building independent bases. The only exception was the Watan Jagir, which was granted to Rajput rulers over their ancestral domains, Watan, which was completely hereditary and non-transferable. Question 89. The Dasala system, or Todarmal's Bandobast, introduced by Akbar in 1580 AD, the 24th year of his reign, was characterized by which of the following features? The land revenue was fixed based on the average agricultural production and average market prices of different crops over the preceding 10 years. Land was classified into 4 distinct categories based on cultivation frequency: polaj, cultivated annually; paroti, fallowed for 1 to 2 years; chachar, fallowed for 3 to 4 years; and banjar, barren uncultivated for 5+ years. The revenue was demanded primarily in cash, though payment in kind was occasionally permitted. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2, and 3. Answer. D. Explanation. All 3 statements are correct. The Dasala system was a highly advanced fiscal reform engineered by Akbar's finance minister Raja Todarmal. It collected extensive data on crop yields and price fluctuations of the past 10 years, from his 15th to 24th regnal years, to determine a highly scientific and predictable tax rate, which was 1/100 of the average produce. It systematically classified lands into polaj, highest tax, parodi, chachar, and banjar, lowest no tax, to encourage farmers to bring barren lands under cultivation. To avoid the hassles of grain transport and market manipulation, the revenue was mostly demanded in cash. Question 90. With reference to the Ibadat Khana, house of worship, established by Akbar, consider the following statements. It was established at Fatehpur Sikri in 1575 AD, initially open only to Sunni Muslim theologians. In 1578, AD Akbar reorganized it into a universal parliament of religions, inviting scholars of all faiths, including Hindus, Jains, Christians, Zoroastrians, and Shias. Due to intense theological disputes and mutual recriminations among different religious scholars, Akbar closed the Ibadat Khana in 1579, 1582 AD. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2, and 3. Answer. D. Explanation. All 3 statements are correct. Akbar established the Ibadat Khana in 1575 at his new capital Fatehpur Sikri to discuss theological matters. Initially, it was confined to Sunni scholars. Finding their debates narrow-minded, he opened the doors in 1578 to scholars of all religions. Hindus, like Purushottam and Devi; Jains, such as Hari Vijay Suri and Jinachandra Suri; Christians, Father Montserrat and Equiviva; and Zoroastrians, Dastarji Meherji Rana. When these debates degenerated into hostile arguments where each scholar called the other's religion false, Akbar became disillusioned with orthodox religions. He issued the Mazar, infallibility decree, in 1579 and permanently shut down the debates. Question 91. Following the closure of the Ibadat Khana, Akbar issued the Infallibility Decree, Mazar, in 1579 AD and propounded the Din-i-Ilahi in 1582 AD. With reference to these events, which of the following statements is historically correct? A. The Mazar proclaimed Akbar as the supreme spiritual caliph of the entire Islamic world. B. The Din-i-Ilahi was a highly rigid state, enforced religion that made conversion mandatory for all military commanders and subjects. The Din-i-Ilahi, or Tawhid Ilahi, was an ethical philosophical syncretic order that completely lacked any sacred book, organized priesthood, or temples. D. Akbar's close general, Raja Man Singh, was the first Hindu to embrace the Din-i-Ilahi. Answer. C. Explanation statement A is incorrect. The Mazar did not declare Akbar as the Caliph of the world. It merely declared him as the Imam-i-Adil, just ruler, giving him the ultimate power to choose between competing interpretations of Sharia law if they conflicted. Statement B is incorrect. Din-i-Ilahi was never a state-enforced religion, nor was it mandatory. It was a voluntary code of ethical conduct based on Sulh-i-Kul, universal peace. Statement C is correct. It was not a conventional religion. It had no sacred text, no temple, no mosque, and no priesthood. It was an elite spiritual club emphasizing moral virtues, charity, and loyalty to the emperor. Statement D is incorrect. Raja Man Singh flatly refused to join when asked by Akbar. Birbal Mahesh Das was the only Hindu who accepted and joined the order. Question 92. Consider the following architectural monuments built during Akbar's reign. Humayun's tomb, Delhi, built under the supervision of his stepmother Hamida Banu Begum, featuring the first true double dome and garden tomb layout in India. Buland Darwaza, Fatehpur Sikri, a massive 54-meter tall gateway built to commemorate Akbar's victorious conquest of Gujarat. Panch Mahal, Fatehpur Sikri, a 5-story columnar pavilion inspired by Buddhist temple structures. Which of the monuments listed above are correctly matched with their descriptions? A1 and 2 only, B2 and 3 only, C1 and 3 only, D1, 2 and 3. Answer. D. Explanation. All 3 monuments are correctly described. Humayun's tomb was commissioned by his widow Hamida Banu Begum, designed by Persian architect Mirak Mirza Ghiyas, and introduced the Persian charbagh, garden, style and the double dome to India, serving as the direct inspiration for the Taj Mahal. The Buland Darwaza is the spectacular southern gateway of the Jami Masjid at Fatehpur Sikri, constructed in 1573 AD to celebrate Akbar's military annexation of Gujarat. The Panch Mahal is an open 5-story tier structure that resembles a Buddhist monastery or vihara. Question 93. With reference to the reign and cultural patronage of Emperor Jahangir, 1605 to 1627 AD, consider the following statements. He established the Zanjir-i-Adil, chain of justice, connected to golden bells at the Agra fort for ordinary subjects to seek direct imperial audience. He executed the 5th Sikh Guru, Guru Arjan Dev, for providing financial and moral assistance to his rebellious son, Prince Khusrau. Under his personal patronage, the Mughal school of painting shifted its focus from illustrating manuscripts to individual portraiture and animal paintings. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only, B. 2 and 3 only, C1 and 3 only, D 1, 2 and 3. Answer. D. Explanation. All 3 statements are correct. Jahangir set up the famous 30-yard gold Zanjir-i-Adil to allow oppressed subjects to bypass corrupt palace officials and directly appeal to the emperor. In 1606 AD, his eldest son, Prince Khusrau, rebelled. Guru Arjan Dev gave him blessings and a financial grant. Jahangir took this as treason, arrested the guru, and executed him, which permanently strained Mughal-Sikh relations. Jahangir was a passionate connoisseur of art. Under his reign, painting reached its zenith, shifting away from massive book illustrations to exquisite miniature portraits, nature scenes, and animal studies, with masters like Ustad Mansur painting rare birds and flowers. Question 94. The tomb of Imad-ud-Dawla, Ghiyasbeg, at Agra, built between 1622 and 1628 AD, holds a revolutionary place in Indo-Islamic architecture. What is the primary reason for its architectural significance? A. It is the first double-dome mosque built in India. B. It is the first Mughal monument constructed entirely of white marble and decorated with the exquisite pietra dura, precious stone inlay work, technique. C. It is the tallest tomb in South Asia, surpassing the Qutub Minar. D. It is an octagonal tomb designed entirely in the Dravidian style. Answer B. Explanation. The tomb of Imad-ud-Dawla, the Grand Vizier and father of Empress Nur Jahan who commissioned the project, is historically called the Baby Taj. It was the first Mughal structure built completely out of pure white marble, rather than red sandstone with marble trim, and decorated with pietra dura, and highly ornate Italian technique of inlaying semi-precious stones, like jasper, lapis lazuli, and onyx, into marble to create floral and geometric designs, which was later perfected in the Taj Mahal. Question 95. Consider the following European travelers who visited the Mughal court during the reign of Jahangir. William Hawkins, 1608 AD, sent by the English East India Company, could speak Turkish, and was given a mansab of 400 English Khan by Jahangir. Sir Thomas Roe, 1615 AD, the official royal ambassador sent by King James I of England to secure formal trading rights and factory permissions. Francisco Pelsaert, a Dutch factor who wrote the Remonstrante detailing the economic exploitation of commoners. Which of the travelers listed above are correctly matched with their historical descriptions? A. 1 and 2, only B. 2 and 3, only C. 1 and 3, only D. 1, 2, and 3. Answer D. Explanation. All three matches are correct. Hawkins arrived at Agra in 1608, spoke fluent Turkish, which impressed Jahangir, and was given a mansab of 400 and a Christian wife. Sir Thomas Roe arrived in 1615 as the accredited ambassador of King James I and succeeded in obtaining imperial farming permissions for the English to establish factories like the one at Surat. Pelsaert was a Dutch merchant whose account Remonstrante is a critical source for understanding the socio-economic hardships of the Indian peasantry during Jahangir's reign. Question 96. With reference to the foreign policy of Emperor Shah Jahan, 1628 to 1658 AD, consider the following statements. He launched the highly expensive Balkh and Badakhshan campaign to reclaim the ancestral Central Asian homeland of the Mughals. He suffered a major irreversible geopolitical blow with the permanent loss of Kandahar to the Safavid Empire of Persia. His military campaigns in Central Asia were a spectacular success, establishing permanent Mughal control over Transoxiana. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 only D, 1, 2, and 3. Answer. A. Explanation. Statement 1 is correct. Shah Jahan was obsessed with reclaiming Samarkand and Fergana, the homeland of Babur. He launched the massive and extremely costly Balkh and Badakhshan campaign, 1645 to 1649, using his sons Murad Dara and Aurangzeb. Statement 2 is correct. In 1649 AD, the Persian Safavid Emperor Shah Abbas II besieged and captured Kandahar. Multiple costly Mughal counter-expeditions failed to reclaim it, and Kandahar was permanently lost, exposing the northwest border of India. Statement 3 is incorrect. The Balkh and Badakhshan campaign was a catastrophic failure. Even though the Mughals temporarily captured Balkh, the inhospitable winter weather, temperatures dropping to 30 degrees Celsius, lack of local support, and relentless guerrilla attacks by the Uzbeks forced a humiliating and hasty Mughal retreat with massive loss of life and treasury. Question 97. Consider the following matches of Shah Jahan's architectural works and their descriptions. Taj Mahal, Agra, a white marble tomb built for his wife Mumtaz Mahal, Arjuman Banu Begum, featuring a double dome and charbagh layout. Red Fort, Shahjahanabad, built as the new imperial palace complex of his capital, containing the Diwan-i-Am and Diwan-i-Khas. Moti Masjid, Agra Fort, a pristine white marble mosque built inside the Agra Fort complex for the personal use of the royal family. Siahi Kalam, a unique painting style featuring fine charcoal lines highlighted with gold, popularized during his reign. Which of the matches given above are correct? A. 1, 2, and 3 only B, 2, 3, and 4 only C, 1, 3, and 4 only D, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Answer. D. Explanation. All four matches are correct. Shah Jahan's reign is known as the Golden Age of Mughal architecture. He built the Taj Mahal for his wife, who died in childbirth in 1631 AD. He shifted his capital from Agra to Delhi, building the new city of Shahjahanabad and its red sandstone palace fortress, the Red Fort. He constructed the highly elegant, fully white marble Moti Masjid, Pearl Mosque, at Agra. In art, he patronized the Siahi Kalam style of portraiture, where line drawings in black ink were subtly illuminated with gold borders. Question 98. With reference to the accession of Emperor Aurangzeb, 1658 to 1707 AD, which of the following are correct? He fought a brutal war of succession against his brothers Dara Shikoh Shah Shuja and Murad Bakhsh. He defeated his elder brother Dara Shikoh in the decisive battles of Dharmat and Samyugar. He imprisoned his aging father Shah Jahan in the Agra fort, where the former emperor spent his remaining years looking at the Taj Mahal. Select the answer. Using the code given below: A, 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer: D. Explanation. All statements are correct. When Shah Jahan fell critically ill in 1657 AD, a bloody war of succession broke out among his 4 sons. Aurangzeb, an exceptional military strategist, defeated the imperial forces led by his elder brother Dara Shikoh at the Battle of Dharmat and the Battle of Samyugar, 1658 AD. He captured Agra, placed his father Shah Jahan under comfortable house arrest at the Agra fort, executed his rivals, Dara and Murad, and chased Shah Shuja out of India to ascend the throne. Question 99. With reference to the religious and domestic policies of Aurangzeb, consider the following statements. He reimposed the discriminatory jizya tax on non-Muslims in 1679 AD, reversing Akbar's century-old policy. He executed the 9th Sikh Guru Tegh Bahadur in 1675 AD for refusing to embrace Islam and defending Hindu religious rights. He banned court music, the Persian festival of Nowruz, the practice of Jaroka Darshan, imperial public appearance, and the minting of kalima, Islamic creed, on coins. Which of the statements given above are correct? A, 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer: D. Explanation. All statements are correct. Aurangzeb was a puritanical Sunni who wanted to run the state strictly according to Islamic laws. He reimposed jizya in 1679 AD. He arrested and publicly executed the 9th Sikh Guru Tegh Bahadur in Delhi's Chandni Chowk in 1675 AD, which permanently solidified Sikh militarization under Guru Gobind Singh. He systematically abolished all court rituals that he considered un-Islamic, including court music, the solar Nowruz festival, weighing the emperor in gold, Tuladan, Jaroka Darshan, and stopped engraving the holy kalima on coins to prevent them from being defiled by touch. Question 100. With reference to the nobility and the decline of the Mughal Empire under Aurangzeb, consider the following statements. Despite his orthodox policies, Aurangzeb's administration had the highest percentage of Hindu mansabdars, around 33%, in the history of the Mughal Empire. His prolonged 25-year-long Deccan campaigns, the Deccan Ulcer, completely drained the financial and military resources of the empire. He successfully annexed the Shia Sultanates of Bijapur, 1686 AD, and Golconda, 1687 AD, which brought the borders of his empire to their maximum historical limits. Which of the statements given above are correct? A, 1 and 2 only B, 2 and 3 only C, 1 and 3 only D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer: D. Explanation. All statements are correct. Statement 1 is historically accurate. Despite his anti-Hindu policies, temple demolition jizya, the massive expansion of the empire into the Deccan forced Aurangzeb to recruit a large number of Maratha and Deccani nobles. As a result, the percentage of Hindu mansabdars in his court was the highest at 33%, compared to 22% under Akbar. Statement 2 and 3 are correct. Aurangzeb personally spent the last 25 years of his life, 1681 to 1707 AD, in the Deccan to crush the Marathas and annex the Shia kingdoms of Bijapur and Golconda. While he achieved his maximum territorial expansion, the Deccan Ulcer, similar to Napoleon's Spanish Ulcer, completely ruined his army's morale, bankrupt the imperial treasury, and led to administrative chaos in North India, which triggered the rapid collapse of the Mughal Empire after his death in 1707 AD.